Hey guys, this is Hank. It is August the 8th, 0003. I just finished doing a QHHT session with my great nephew, and he had an awesome session where he went back in time. You'll hear it's the post before this one, and he was a samurai. He had a very interesting experience, and he'd like to tell you how he experienced it from his perspective and from his universe. And how did it feel to you?
Let me put it like this. I felt wise.
Made you feel wise. Very good.
The entire time, even though I was at war, I felt at peace.
And when you say you were at war, were you at war with the process? Or the possible thought of the process, or at war with what?
During my travelings.
You mean your incarnation as a shogun?
Yes.
Okay, we have to make it clear. There we go. Understood.
Although you've seen in the video when I said here, but let me lay it out exactly how I seen it, and as some other people.
Could you start with the purple sky?
I see a purple sky, barely in the clouds. It looks cloudy, but thin enough where you don't see the sun. But
okay,
you can tell it's still daytime. It's not night. It's not dark out.
Okay, understood.
Everything's still bright. And this cherry blossom tree, it's not like the trees you see out here. It's like a dark blue, blackish tree, the bark.
Oh, interesting.
And it's thick at the bottom where the pond is, where the rocks are.
I saw that myself.
The stream, and the rock path leads out to it. It's snow-covered ground, it's snowing, so if you can imagine that yourself. And, well, at all times I felt at peace, I felt loved and protected.
And you think that had to do with the induction itself? Well, I'm absolutely sure it had to do with the induction itself, but that's really good to hear, because some people are really afraid of this process, and so that's really two positive notes. You felt at peace and protected during the entire thing, and which gave you full range to experience it all without freaking out, because some people, when they freak out, they close the doors, and now nobody talks, no one, you know what I'm saying? And you said at first no one would talk to you, and I felt like a door was closed, and then finally you started getting the impressions.
Well,
because he didn't say anything, the man, right?
The
gatekeeper?
The guard didn't say anything at first, but he knew who I was. It was like we understood each other without speaking.
Understood.
I knew what he was saying, but he did not say any words.
And that's the impression that I normally try and get people to verbalize, even though he didn't say anything, but you got a feeling or an impression, do you know what I mean? And to go ahead and state it just makes it easier for you to understand, but mostly if you're listening to it after the fact, you'll realize that already. So go ahead, I'm sorry. I'm always thinking about the audience.
Well, afterwards, during my training, it was another giant field. Did you see this too?
Yeah, I heard it. You talked.
Well,
okay, I'm sorry.
It was like the Wing Chun dummy that was there, but it didn't have the arm bars and the leg. It was for sword strikes.
Awesome. Let me explain something. Hold that thought. The reason why he said, did you see that too? He wasn't asking me, although I was visualizing everything, you know how I can be there at the same time. But he was asking his, was that stepdad then?
Yeah.
His stepdad, which is my nephew, who I just did a session with him, and then I asked him during the induction, we actually did this as a group, to close his eyes and to go in with him. Now, he said he was able to see everything that you'd seen as well. So that's what he meant by that. So, very good.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you the exact same story with more detail. Close your eyes. You look up, you see a sky. It's purple, cloudy, and then it starts to pan down like a camera. Imagine you're watching a movie. The cherry blossom leaves, some are falling because of snow, but the snow's not heavy, no, it's thin. It's like powdered snow, but it's plenty on the ground. But you don't feel cold because you live there your entire life. You feel comfortable. I was laying down in the snow. Yes, just enjoying nature. But it wasn't cold enough that the water froze over. Oh no, the brook, the lake, it was still running. You can see small fish run by. And the tree, it was great and beautiful. You're just in a state of peace. Like nothing could ever go wrong. Sometimes you may feel like that in your life, it's okay. And sometimes there's bad things that happen, but no, ladies and gentlemen, this was no bad thing. Imagine you're in a park or a forest and you're just laying down and enjoying nature. Exactly how I felt. Hey, I was in Castle Walls, but I was no prisoner. I lived there. That was my home. I was at peace at my home. And although I did not have a wife, I had a child that I had adopted from war. He was young enough, and I raised him up. He was about, I would say, 6 or 7. You can imagine a little child, running around. But it's time to eat and everything. And Mikasa Chan, she was beautiful. She really was. We liked each other, but we weren't married and we weren't having relations. So as I was asking these questions, she looked at me funny and she smiled because she knew I was there. I asked her what year was it. She was like, my Lord. She smiled and laughed. She was like, of course you know what year it is. But she told me because she is my maiden.
Let me interject. Do you always notice that when they go there, and it's more apparent in these quantum healing hypnosis therapy sessions, that they are actually there. And when you start asking questions, as you notice, I always ask questions, they always say the same thing, like, why are you asking these questions? Now, how many times in these videos has that come up? Maybe I will have to take that second level of QHHT with Dolores Cannon to, or maybe I just need to think about that some more when that happens. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now, when you asked me to go to a very important moment in my life, it was a battlefield. Yes, it was a very important battle. Do I know the name of the battle? No. But I know enough about Japan. And I love the feudal era. If you know what the feudal era is.
It's okay. The people around the world, they know everything.
Yeah. I didn't like the Meiji era. No. The Meiji era, they got rid of the samurai. They thought they were outclassed. And you can see shows and movies about it. How they banned swords on the street and they moved on to guns and modern armies.
Understood. May I interrupt? And you notice how when someone has had a life, say such as the shonen has as a shogun or what have you, how into it they are. Now one might say, oh well, he's been fantasizing that stuff and that's why he saw that or whatever, and that may be it as well. But you are nothing but energy and you can create anything. So that sounds like an awesome life as far as I'm concerned. So you're on the battlefield and what's going on then?
I was a warrior with great skill. Oh, I was a shogun. I was a leader. And earlier in this video when I said I felt protected and safe, it also had to do with a prayer. I asked the Lord to help protect me and guide me through this process that I'm going through. And for others, if and when you do go through this process, do pray. If you don't have a religion, pray to yourself.
That's very important. We tell everyone, ground yourself and talk to your higher self, and either through prayer or to get yourself ready for the process. And he did very nicely, and I was good. So, and I'm happy you did, because
all right.
keep going. Just you're on the battlefield.
Yeah, I'm on the battlefield. I'm talking to my men. Psyching them up, preparing them for war. Because you will see some things, as people have to tell you through war. I never had PTSD though. I never had PTSD. It was a cause that was just and right. War was necessary. It had to happen. Unfortunately, it was unavoidable.
That was at that particular time, and you were war-minded, but we're moving away from that. The majority of my listeners already know that, but I'm sure at each time until it karmas itself out. But as we know, it'll probably karma itself out by 2020, 2021. So this is good.
Now, afterwards, it was towards, I believe, the time of my death. Well, at the time of my death, I couldn't, I didn't die in war. I didn't see myself dying.
You said you died in your sleep, you were thinking?
Yeah, all I seen was blackness. So I had to think of, I didn't know. I died in my sleep.
Somehow you quickly rose up and and started watching the scene.
Yes, I've seen it from my handmaid's eyes. How she would see it. I was laying down. I would say the medical doctor. You can call him coroner, whatever you want in modern times. Well, I seen him examining me, and I had the covers over me. I was laying down. I can imagine she had called him because she had come to get me up, and I didn't respond. I was dead. The fire was still behind me in my room. I had my sword with me at all times. And I was a white pillow. I was laying down on the floor. It was a white bed, but there was a stone foundation where the fire was. Now, it wasn't like a chimney. Oh, thank you. It wasn't like a chimney, no. It was like the secluded area where a fire was. It wasn't going to burn anything except the wood that was inside of it. But then, as I seen that, it was a light. Around the room, it was a square room. There was a light, an oval, if you will. And a man came from it. A man in a yellow suit, the same color as the light. So.
Oh, yellow suit. Okay, very good. I didn't get that detail.
It was like a bright suit of light. You can put it like that. This man was around the same color as me, as I was, but the female was lighter than I am. When I went inside, he showed me, he didn't speaking the words, took my hand, and then guided me inside. I guess that was his job, to help show me how to get there.
Some people call him St. Peter.
St. Peter?
Yes. At the gate.
Well, and then there was this white room, and then this woman appeared to me. But back then, I wasn't used. You can see my clothes somewhat, my shirt and everything. I was in my normal clothes. I was in my normal skin. No longer was I this warring man. The message was directly for me. And, ladies and gentlemen, I've heard this message before. Yes, ever since I was young, and I was going to die, people prayed over me, and I'm still here. I'm alive, so it's a beautiful thing, But ever since I was young, I can remember telling my father, probably told him I love you too, but I just remember telling my father that I was destined for great things. I was supposed to help our people. So I had this message as a fairly young boy.
That was the message she gave you. And just describe once again what she looked like and what she was wearing.
Oh, she was beautiful. She had long black hair. It was straight. looked natural. She was like my mother's complexion. She's a little darker. But as you can tell, she's lighter than me. She had on this golden dress, the same color as the room. The same color as that man's suit. And she gave me my message. She called me by my name.
A lot of people think that the ones that come from the light, or a lot of people say that the ones that are coming from the light are glowing and really bright. Were they glowing and bright?
Well, her dress was.
Oh, very good.
But I can tell, as I'm speaking to you, the viewers, and I'm speaking to you, Uncle Hank,
Yeah.
she was in a mortal form as me.
Awesome. Absolutely.
Because, as it said, the angels become in many forms. To talk to you, well, she came in the form as a human, which was understandable, even though she was in the light. She looked like one of us. I can't honestly tell you exactly what an angel looks like. I never actually seen one in person.
I think you just saw two of them, and
Yeah,
are you in denial that you just have that experience that you are, or is about your human mind, your ego coming back into play right now?
Oh no, I'm not denying that I had this experience. This thing happened. I can tell you in vivid detail. Which
And the nation. You ask about the nation, and that would be the Nation of Islam, correct?
Yes, sir.
And are you Muslim?
Yes, sir, I am.
Practicing?
Yes, I am.
Very good.
I was born a Muslim, as we were told everyone's a Muslim here. I was born a Muslim, and it was
I love that everyone is a Muslim, which means we're all one. And awesome.
When it's my time to pass, I will die Muslim. I will move on from this form and being and into something else.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Love and light. Namaste.